Welcome. My name is Jeremiah Sunari. In this lesson, we will be generating simple equivalent fractions by using visual fraction models and the number line. The highlighted standards you see will be elaborated in this presentation. This is Module 5, Day 26. We will be looking at how can we represent equivalent fractions on a number line. In this slide, we want to encourage students to read the directions. From my experience with students in general, and especially students with disability in learning math, modeling reading the directions will help them focus on the math task and help understand what they need to do next. As the instructor, you can model I do, we do, you do. For the first example, in the I do portion, you can provide direct instruction by saying, in this example, we see two equal pieces, and one of those pieces is shaded. Therefore, 1 is the numerator, and 2 is the denominator, and my fraction is 1/2. Next, you can transition into we do, where this is guided instruction. You may ask the students prompts such as, how many equal pieces are there? How many shaded pieces are there? What is the numerator? What is the denominator? And lastly, you can have the students practice the you do portion where they're independently practicing the 6 other examples. In this slide, the key math vocabulary we want students to understand is equivalent fractions. So when they read the prompt asking them to generate a fraction that would represent 10 1/4 and 5 1/2. If there are some challenges with this, asking them what is the numerator, what is the denominator. This will help them practice the math vocabulary and knowing where to put each number on the fraction. We can follow up with students by comparing the fractions and asking them, is there a relationship? Can we create a fraction using eighths? And if so, what do you think that fraction will look like compared to 10/4 and 5/2? In this slide, we want students to understand how can they represent equivalent fractions. Using real-life examples can allow students to make a better connection with this concept. We can have students think about some questions such as why are equivalent fractions important and whether they can think in real-life examples. If they're having trouble with this, we can use prompts such as relating how sharing food relates to equivalent fractions. Using money, for example, 10 pennies equals 1 dime, 20 pennies is equal to 2 dimes. In addition, students may be familiar with Lego blocks. They might need a certain block, but they might not have it, so using 2 equivalent blocks can help them in their Lego construction. Another question to consider is, would you prefer half a cake or 4/8 of a cake, and why? Hearing students' responses can help them understand and make sense of the situation, and you as a teacher can assess if they're making connections with the topic or they need more guidance. Lastly, in this slide, I provided a differentiation problem for students who may need low level of differentiation, medium level of differentiation, and high level of differentiation. You can adjust the differentiation prompts as need fit and based on the student's strengths, challenges, information related to their IEP, and what you're currently working on with them. Finally, I wanted to add this bonus slide here because in this slide, using fraction strips can be helpful for students with disabilities. Seeing a visual diagram of the fraction and the written fraction is helpful for them to compare equivalent fractions. I'm going to also show you how you can create a fraction strip using the PowerPoint. So for example, I generated one already here, but we're going to create one from scratch. First, you're going to go to Insert, we're going to go to Table, and we're going to do a 1x7 table. We're going to bring this down. And what we're going to do next is we're going to darken the outline. So we're going to go to Table Design, we're going to go to Borders, and we're going to go to All Borders. Now it's nice and dark, and we can see each of the bars very clearly. Next, what we're going to do is the first line is going to be our whole bar. The next one we're going to do is our 1/2. So what we're going to do here is we're going to split this into two. So what I just did was right click. We're going to go to split cells, and we're going to split it into two. We're going to do the same thing for the rest of them. We're going to right click the third bar, split cells. We're going to divide this into 3 columns, and you get the picture here. Or this one will be 5, and here will be 6. The last one's going to be a little tricky because you'll notice that you can't go up to 8. But what we can do is we're going to divide into 4, and this will serve as a fraction lesson. We're going to split the cells again, but this time 2, right? 4 times 2 is 8, and voila, you got your fraction bar. Now we're going to name our fraction. So we're going to put 1 here, because this will be our 1 whole. We're also going to change this to 1/2. We're going to go to the next one, 1/2. Next, we're going to do 1/3. And we're just going to copy this and label it for all of them. We're going to do 1/4. Copy that. We're going to paste. Keep going, paste, and again. Here we're going to do 1/5. We're going to highlight this, copy, move on to the next, and paste it. Paste and paste. Here we're going to do 1/6. Copy that. Paste, paste, and so on. Lastly is 1/8. We're going to copy it, paste, paste. Now, what we're going to do next is let's center this. To make this nice and organized, we're going to highlight the whole thing. We're going to go to Home, and this button over here, Center. We're going to click that, and it's nice and centered. What you can also do is bold everything else. So I just did Control B for bold, or you could just go to Home and click the bold button. Lastly, we're going to highlight everything. So we're going to make this colorful. So the first bar, I highlighted the first bar, so I'll do that again. Go to Table Design. We're going to go to Shading. And I'm going to use the standard colors. So I'm going to choose this bright red. And it would be nice do the same thing and kind of show orange and so on. Notice how I'm using colors that are bright, and I don't want it to be too dark so that students or anyone who's using it is going to have difficulty with doing this. We'll just do this and continue doing that. And you could choose whatever colors you want. These are colors that I just chose. It's already there, so for me, it makes sense. And we're going to do the last one, and there you go. You just created your fraction strips. So hope this was helpful, and have a great day.